This is a Next Wednesday media production.
Fun, like ha 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 ha.
Welcome back to another episode of GGTV. All right, y'all. So I decided to switch it up and start covering a whole nother show because the way my attention span was going with Melrose Place, like I just couldn't. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's shit's getting thick because I think I'm still in the beginning of season 3 or whatever. And, with life happening and stuff, I hadn't been able to, just sit down, watch, and actually get into it so that I can, record my little videos on what happens and what I think is going to happen and all of that stuff. So, in that time I had switched jobs. So when I would, I had started watching it when I would go on my breaks at my old job. But then I just would get distracted or get on YouTube or be on the phone and stuff. And then some of the episodes was taking too long for stuff to build up and whatnot. So I was like, you know what? Let me just watch something else and maybe I could circle back to Melrose Place. I mean, hell, it's 7 seasons, right? I think 7 seasons of it. I'm only in season 3. It's on Paramount Plus, and it's on Prime Video. So I can always go back and pick up where I left off. But as for right now, I'm covering Weeds. All right. So just kind of like a basis of what's been going on in Weeds. All right. So it's about a lady named Nancy Botwin, whose husband, she's a widow, he passed away when he went out jogging one morning, had a heart attack, collapsed or whatever. And so basically the show is about how she's coping and dealing with life after he's passed or whatever. So I'm just going to assume she was a housewife and he worked and made all the bread. But being that, he's gone now, he can't make the money, I'm pretty sure she got a decent insurance payout. I mean, they don't talk about it, you know what I mean? Because they don't talk about how she's getting by because she's not working. But she also has a side hustle where she deals to her neighbors who prefer to puff pass, right? So that's how she's basically paying everything because she has a nice customer base or whatever, right? So one of her first obstacles is when what happened? Okay, so one of her first obstacles is when Doug, which is one of her customers who she he's a what is it? Like a top tier customer or whatever. He always buys from her, right? So he ends up getting a medical card and going to the dispensary and getting all of these edibles so he can be high all day, right? And so she checks out the dispensary and she's seeing all the strands of weed in there. And when she goes back to her plug's house, she's like, y'all been giving me BS. And they were like, I mean, you can't say we've been giving you BS because you ain't even asked for the good stuff. So then she pulls out her list. She's like, I need this, I need this, I need this, I need this, or whatever. And so then they were like, they gave her the price. Basically, she had to bargain her car. She had money, right? But with the high grade stuff, it's going to cost more. So she, with the high grade stuff, it costs more. So she had to leave her car. She ends up taking Conrad's car. All right, quick sidebar, okay? Conrad, all right. Conrad is her plug's son. Her plug's name is Helia, right? And how she got in contact with them is her brother-in-law, Andy, who becomes one of the main characters of the show. He basically told her, if you ever need to like smoke, hit up Conrad, he'll get you right. So that's how she got started with selling, because she basically hit up Conrad not to smoke but to get products so that so that she can make money or whatever. So that's that sidebar, okay? She takes Conrad's car, his little dust bucket or whatever. So she has that for a couple of weeks. Then she goes to making edibles and stuff because she's trying to keep her customer base, right? So she calls this meeting with all the potheads and like her customers, and she gives them samples of her edibles, and she's telling them the perks of buying from her versus going to the dispensary to get it. Your name is in the database. So if you wanted to run for like city council, mayor, anything of that position, stuff like that shows up or whatever, right? So that's how she gets her customers back. And I think she even threw in like, I don't know, a bag of weed for free or something like that. Hold on. Whew, throat got a little dry. So, fast forward. There's a whole lot of things I'm skipping over. I'm trying to make this video as short as possible, so I'm trying not to ramble because I tend to do that. But anyways, so that was like her first obstacle. So then she ends up getting her car back from Helia because she, made back her money. Or she made the money in order to, get her car back or whatever. So then what ends up happening? So she gets her car back, and then she's like, excuse me. She's like, I need to expand, yada, yada, yada. So Silas is having problems like in chemistry or something like that, right? So she goes to the Agrestic College, community college campus to find a tutor. Finds a tutor. His name is Sanjay or whatever. And so he comes over, he tutors Silas, and then she says something to him about like, making extra money. And then that's when she gets the idea to recruit him and his friends to sell for her. So, my screen started doing something crazy. Anyways, so now she has her college crew and they're dealing on the campus. She already had notes from like Helia on what to do, like get them disposable phones and all of this stuff. So then, things are going good on campus, making sales, yada, yada, yada. And then one day, while she's on campus having a meeting with her crew, she goes back to her car, sees a whole lot of pennies around the car. There are little dents in her car from where like the pennies had been thrown at it. And so she's like, WTF, right? And so then later on, I think it's later on in that episode, before the episode goes off, she comes outside and in her fountain it's a whole lot of pennies, right? So then, while she's at her plug's house, she's telling them what's going on. They're like, oh, you done pissed somebody off. You getting penny. So then what ends up happening? I can't remember if this happens before or after, but there was this guy trying to find her, this guy from like the cartel or something like that. He's trying to find Nancy. They go out of town because they had like a tournament somewhere because Shane does karate, and he showed his ass. But then after she gets home or whatever, she sees the guy. No, I think Lupita, that's her housekeeper. Lupita tells her that there was a guy waiting for her, and she gave her the pennies, right? So this is the person who's been throwing the pennies at her truck, right? So she goes out to her car, gets in it, drives like down the street, around the corner to an alley, confronts the guy, and then they end up smashing on the hood of his car, right? All right, cut to the next scene or episode, can't remember. But then when she goes to the campus, she gets stopped by campus security, and long story short, he jacks her product, right? And so now she's in a pickle because her product's gone. She's trying to figure out how can she get it back. They just opened a storefront bakery, basically to launder the money for the sales or whatever. And the guy who was like who she smashed, the guy from the cartel, comes into the bakery, and now he's like offering her to team up with him so she can have protection and whatnot. And that is currently where I'm at. All right, I'll keep you guys posted on what happens next, and have a great day. Peace out.